Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I will tell you things you have never heard before, or things you may have heard but misunderstood or misheard. Imagine this, a book that no human has ever been able to read. Today, I'll tell you the story of the world's most puzzling text, the Voynich Manuscript. There are some mysteries that endure not because they cannot be solved, but because they were never meant to be. Among the libraries of forgotten knowledge and archives of the inexplicable, one manuscript stands alone, unreadable, undatable in origin, indescribable in content, and unmatched in intrigue. This is the story of the Voynich Manuscript, not a story of heroes or wars, not a tale of love or betrayal, but something far more ancient and haunting, a whisper from a lost world, written in a language that has no name. It begins not with its discovery, but with its creation, somewhere, sometime, in the shadows of 15th century Europe. The parchment, as determined by radiocarbon dating, was prepared between 1404 and 1438. It is calfskin, carefully treated and folded into quires. But the scribe remains unknown. No name, no initials, no symbol of authorship. What we have are over 240 pages of flowing, looping script that matches no known language. It has been called Voynichese, but the name is an invention, like trying to name a ghost you cannot see. The writer of this book, whoever they were, wrote with certainty. The letters are elegant, consistent, and entirely uncorrected. Page after page, the hand does not waver. This was no draft, no playful code, it was a finished work. They drew plants with uncanny precision, plants that mimic known species, but always with subtle and sometimes grotesque differences. They drew human figures, often nude, immersed in green pools connected by strange tubular systems. They traced stars and cosmological diagrams, some folded into vast radial patterns across multiple pages, and always the same strange script. Paragraph after paragraph, word after word. Sometimes stars mark the beginning of lines, sometimes the words form circular patterns. The scribe, whoever they were, was not just writing. They were recording a system, a worldview, a cosmos of their own making. Centuries would pass before this artifact resurfaced. In 1912, a Polish-American rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich stumbled across it in the library of the Villa Mondragone, a Jesuit seminary in Frascati, Italy. In a chest of old manuscripts, this one stood out immediately. It had no title, no author, no date. Its script was unknown. Its images were otherworldly. Voynich, who had seen thousands of rare books, knew this was different. He brought the manuscript to the world's attention, sending copies of pages to linguists, cryptographers, and historians. The reactions were consistent. Confusion, fascination, obsession. What was this book? Who wrote it? Why? Some thought it was the work of Roger Bacon, the English philosopher and scientist. Bacon was known for his experiments and secret writings, but analysis of the manuscript's materials showed it was made after Bacon's death. Others speculated it was the journal of a herbalist or an alchemist. Some even believed it was written by aliens or time travelers. There was no consensus, only more questions. The content of the manuscript has been broadly categorized into 6 sections: herbal, astronomical, biological, cosmological, pharmaceutical, and recipes. But these terms are modern attempts to impose order. The plants in the herbal section do not exist. Some look familiar, like variations of known herbs, but none are real. The astronomical pages contain zodiac signs and stars, but arranged in ways unknown to medieval science. The biological section is perhaps the most eerie. Naked women connected by pipes, floating in liquids, possibly representing anatomical or mystical processes. The cosmological section includes fold-out charts, vast mandala-like circles that defy interpretation. The pharmaceutical section lists root structures and containers, suggesting remedies or tinctures. And the recipes, blocks of text preceded by star-shaped bullets, read like instructions. But for what? No one knows. Attempts to crack the code began almost immediately. Voynich sent samples to the most renowned code breakers of the early 20th century. In World War II, British and American cryptographers, some of whom cracked the Nazi Enigma code, tried and failed to decode it. They agreed it wasn't gibberish. The script had linguistic properties. It followed Zipf's law, a frequency distribution common in natural languages. Words appeared to follow patterns, the grammar seemed consistent, but the meaning never came. With the rise of computers, efforts intensified. Machine learning algorithms were trained on the text. Artificial intelligence was used to compare Voynich's essay with hundreds of known and extinct languages. Some patterns emerged like common prefixes and suffixes, but no decipherment. One theory suggests the manuscript was written in a constructed language, possibly with a substitution cipher. Others believe it is glossolalia, a language spoken in trance, without conscious control. Some argue it is an elaborate hoax, but if so, it is a hoax that required years of effort, artistic skill, and absolute consistency. The mystery deepens with its history. A letter attached to the manuscript states that it once belonged to Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire, who ruled from Prague in the late 16th century. Rudolf was obsessed with alchemy and the occult. He allegedly paid 600 gold ducats for the manuscript, believing it was the work of Bacon. Later, it passed to Johannes Marci, a Bohemian scientist, who tried to have it decoded by Jesuit scholar Athanasius Kircher in Rome. Kircher was known for his attempts to translate Egyptian hieroglyphs, though his methods were flawed. He failed with the Voynich as well. After that, the manuscript vanished for centuries. Where it went, no one knows. It reappeared in Italy in 1912, but the gap remains unexplained. Today, it resides in Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library as MS-408. Still, its contents remain opaque. In modern times, the manuscript has become a touchstone of fringe theories. Some believe it is the lost book of a forgotten civilization. Others claim it was dictated during alien contact. There are even those who see it as a magical grimoire containing rituals or formulas to be performed. But none of these theories can explain the same thing: why it exists. Why would someone spend years writing a book no one could read? Why use a language no one else understood? Why draw imaginary plants and impossible stars? Perhaps it was never meant for us. Perhaps it was a meditation, a spiritual exercise, a private mythology. Or maybe it was a message, one intended to be read only when the world was ready. Whatever the case, the Voynich manuscript stands as a monument to something very rare, a mystery that has not withered under the light of scholarship. It has only grown. In its silence, it speaks. It speaks of the limits of reason, of the endurance of curiosity, of the human drive to know, even when the answers are out of reach. And perhaps that is its true purpose, to remind us that knowledge is not the same as understanding, and that the greatest wisdom lies not in answers, but in the courage to keep asking questions. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on notifications.